Time to go. I should have done laundry. Man, the temperatures out here are fantastic. It feels so nice. It was hot and muggy in there. Let's get a little ways down the road and then I'll figure out a game plan for today. Important announcement, I have found my favorite sliced bread. It's good, super unhealthy, I love it. Now to stock up on even more breads. Look how contentedly he waits for me outside the grocery store. He's just a good boy. Well, it's just so much better day than yesterday. No rain, breezy and sunny. Okay, so our basic plan today is just to make progress. Nothing crazy. I don't use Google to navigate with me direction by direction, but I will sometimes just say Amsterdam and it'll calculate the routes for me and then I can just see which kind of directions options I have. Random pro tip if you want to do something like this. Sometimes if you put in walking directions, it'll include places that have staircases. And if you've got a big heavy apparatus, that's not necessarily a deal breaker, but sometimes it can be really obnoxious. Alternately, if you put in bicycle directions, it usually won't take you up and down staircases. I think you'd be surprised how often that's actually been a factor, especially in cities, as you can imagine. However, walking and biking directions, even just way out here in the country, will sometimes give you pretty different results as to what Google recommends. This morning when I did it, I noticed the walking directions had me following kind of big roads just directly adjacent to them for most of the way to Amsterdam, and I just really don't find that appealing anymore. Even though it added 8 or 10 miles, the bicycle directions led me straight through green pastures and fields pretty much all the way to Amsterdam, passing through the really small towns, which I find so much more enjoyable. It was something I sort of had to consider. Is it worth adding the extra 8 miles, which is basically half a day? And then I thought about it's going to be basically 10 or 11 days worth of walking, which I think I'll enjoy 90% more when I'm just walking through the green, sunny fields and blue skies, rather than adjacent to a fairly large road, which is just going to be heavily trafficked. You got passenger noise going by your ears all the time. And then the entirety of the goal today is just to get, I don't know, 18 miles. 18 miles is kind of our sweet spot lately. Do you think so? Do you like walking 18 miles? You hungry? It's 4:30 p.m. We've walked 9.87 miles today. Here's another thing I've seen lately on buildings, so it must be a trend. They always use these green colors and then they write something above the door. And there might as well be hidden treasure maps for all I can read them. This is my first time ever finding one of these. It looks like a rest area specifically built for bicycles. There's a place you can sit out of the shade. There's a few outlets in case you need to charge stuff while you're here. Multiple picnic tables, places for you to rack your bike, quite a few of them actually. And then maps of the local area. That must be us. As you can see, we're in the middle of fields. Hey, and I remember a couple of videos ago, I was like, what are these things I keep finding? This right here, there's a picture of one of those things I kept finding where they had a bunch of random materials inside a tiny little house. I don't speak German, but that says Insekten Hotel, which sounds to me like it's an insect hotel. It helps insects thrive. It is 6:38 p.m. 12.62 miles in. Slow day. We made it to a little village. It is genuinely amazing how low my energy levels get on a day after not much sleep. I didn't have a hard time falling asleep, I just stayed up late like a dummy. This little village is a decent size. It looks like it has a grocery store around the corner. I might get, I don't know, some M&Ms or something. New fence style alert. Just a rope. We have very good news. Record-breaking speed, by the way. I messaged a gentleman on One Night Tent. There are 2 small towns coming up ahead in the next 4 miles. The first one had a listing for One Night Tent, but it said no dogs, which is a bummer because apparently it's housed in a former youth hostel, which just would be interesting to explore. I like things that are now used for a different reason than the reason they were made. I don't know why. But the next one had a listing that didn't say anything about no dogs, and I messaged him, and he messaged me back in probably like 3.5 minutes. So very speedy, and he instantly just says, yeah, no problem, here's my address. So that's where we're headed. It's about 4 miles away. Here's where we are, in Kirchhatten. We're gonna be sleeping, hopefully, I imagine so, in Hundlosen. This is the next town, but there's a little bike path, I think, that goes all the way along here. It's a very nice little town. We've got flowers, clean open space. You got your classic Nipper and your classic Ansgari Apotheke. I don't know what either of those are. By lawnmowers, chainsaws. Okay, I'm tired. I don't know who this man is, but we've become very close. Physically, I'm very close to him. He's a fellow traveler, and I feel great solidarity with him. He has it all on his back, though. I've tried that. It's hard. Look at that. The entire top half of the building is made of glass. I like it, except for the fact that many of the panels are broken. Trick of the trade. No. Risk of the game. Something like that. There's an expression that I can't think of because I'm operating with about 30%. Here's another trend alert. Lately, all the buildings have been putting when they were built on the front right there. 8:04 p.m., 15.47 miles in. Admiring this old barn. Ivy, wood, brick, beams, all good stuff. And a billboard. I also love this color green that they use out here. It's pretty much universal. You see pretty much every door to an old barn uses that color green. I apologize for the shaky cam. It's not on purpose. It's just a lack of skill. And the reason I'm not a surgeon. That and I didn't go to medical school. Look where we made it. Hundlosen. Just like the sign said. Turns out, contrary to what I've been taught my whole life, cartographers are trustworthy. Not saying it was hilarious, but that was a joke. Obviously, it's not a thing that parents just teach their children that cartographers aren't trustworthy. Made it to our street, doody-doop. Okay. I know what number we're looking for, but I'm not going to tell you, because I've already told you the name of the town. And maybe this guy lets us take a shower, and in his bathroom is where he has his personal storage of gold. If I gave you away his town and his address, and then showed you that that's where he kept his stash of gold, then you might want to rob him. So I'm not going to tell you that he lives at number. He made a soup. It's really good.